Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Nate.
There's a lot of no good sons of bitches out there.
Would you say more than 100?
Dag nabbit.
And, of course, our resident queen of the unsuspecting victims, our final girl, as it were, Lisa.
There's a lot of no good sons of bitches out there.
A lot. That's how many. Double the amount. Double the amount you would think. Yes.
Double your pleasure.
You're running into the devil all the time.
Not some, not a majority.
All
the time.
Well, welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate a horror-related topic. We represent the three different, I guess, horror fandoms. Myself being the gore-tastic, grindhouse kind of over the top stuff. Nate, art house, big thinking guy, horror movies, and Lisa, no horror movie love whatsoever. So we have an interesting one this time around. We're talking about Netflix's Devil All the Time, which, funnily enough, if you had to guess which one of us three really pushed for this one to be included on the schedule, I think you'd be surprised. This was a Lisa pick for the podcast.
Damn it, I got tricked.
You got tricked? You picked it. Wait, what?
Yes, but when I saw the trailer, and I knew it was going to be bad because it had serial killers in it, but I saw Robert Pattinson and I saw Tom Holland. I was like, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah, this could be my favorite Spider-Man movie. This by far. I'm not a huge Marvel fan at all.
Without getting into spoilers too much, Spider-Man's uncle lives in this one, so not quite a Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
But we're missing Tom Holland dancing, so that was lacking in this movie for sure.
Yeah, and there is a web in this movie, but it is just deceit. And no physical.
Oh, what a
webs.
Tangled web we weave.
There's a lot of
Nate,
webs.
I need you to stretch before these calls if you're going to make those kinds of reaches for jokes. Now, so yeah, we are talking about Netflix's Devil All the Time. Came out last year. Yeah, this was a Lisa special, so I am excited to see if it lives up.
Lisa pre-tricked herself already, so this is already going fantastic.
Sometimes I think we overthink it, Nate. You and I, we kind of talk about how do we get unsuspecting victims and non-horror fans to watch horror movies that we love, and I think we overthink it sometimes. Really, it's just get A-list actors all in them, and get you some Tom Holland, get your Robert Pattinson, this is a veritable who's who in this movie.
It's a lot of people.
But
let's get everyone who's not from America to play rural Americans, and then put it in a movie
like hill people Americans, because that is
Dudley Dursley's in it.
Yes,
folks that are from around this area. So Nate, this is near where you're from, so these are your folk.
I don't know about that, but I'm by far the closest of anybody.
I need people who are from this area to let us know if these are in fact actual ways people talk. I don't believe these accents. I don't know who the accent coach was, if there was one.
Well, I'm going to get into that.
We're going to get into it.
I'm going to get into it.
But if you are from the area that this movie takes place, do let us know. We've had previous episodes, we've actually had some people come back to us and let us know, hey, I'm from that area, which, hey, it's never great. most of the stuff we review on this show, to say you're from the area is not like,
hey, you know where that terrible thing happened? I'm from there. There's somebody.
Whenever, I don't want to really talk to the folks from Texarkana when we do Night from the Town That Dreaded Sundown. It's, I'm near enough.
I just drove through there.
Yeah, not great. But in any case, look, before we get into that, because we have a lot to discuss about this movie, let's have a little debate question.
Bid our father, the Sea King, rise from the depths full, foul in his fury. Black waves teeming with salt foam, to smother this young mouth with pungent slime.
Okay, so which Robert Pattinson movie y'all like more? The Lighthouse or this one?
Oh, is that the debate?
Wow.
Oh,
I like The Lighthouse.
I'm not saying the debate question. I'm just curious.
I like The Lighthouse better, but
well, wait, are you asking me which is the better movie or which is the better Robert Pattinson performance?
Which is the better Robert Pattinson performance?
Oh man, I would say he stands out more in this one, but I think that's because Willem Dafoe is just takes over that movie. Yeah, it's hard. Being in a two-man movie, he gets not outshined, but it's just his character is meant to be a lot more. I don't want to say timid,
weenie.
It's sort of kind of. I mean, it's more subtle than Willem Dafoe's like batshit craziness.
Gotcha.
Whereas this one, he's definitely there to chew scenery and really like be whatever you would call Ohio, at upper. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe whatever the hell this accent he was doing was. Nate, what about you? Did you think he was better in this or The Lighthouse?
Oh, Lighthouse. I mean, he's carrying in The Lighthouse. This movie, he's like the 10th build person. So he's like a bit player. Whereas in The Lighthouse, he's really, really doing some work. How many seagulls did he murder in this one? 0. All right.
He definitely did. Yeah. Well, he didn't bang. He didn't bang any mermaids, and
he had sex in both movies, but one was with a mermaid. That's apparently better in my book. I have no clue what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm gonna go Lighthouse.
Yeah, Lighthouse was, I think, the better film, and we'll get into it. Nate, did you have a debate question?
Well, I mean, I just couldn't get over the lack of Americans in this movie that takes place in rural America. No one is from America in this entire movie. So I was going to say, let's put some Americans in this movie. Any American actors you want to see in rural, Southern Ohio / West Virginia / Kentucky. We're all writing about that area.
This is going to become do we actually know who's American anymore? Because so many British actors. Oh
God!
Like I'm worried I'm gonna say a name and y'all gonna be like, oh no, they're Australian. All right. So who could we have brought in that is American for this American film?
Yeah, I mean we're in Ohio, right? Who seems like they could fit in Ohio? I mean you're not gonna put Matt Damon probably in Ohio, are you? Oh, maybe you are. I don't know. He's more of a Boston guy.
Nah, he's too Boston. Him and Affleck, I think you would be hard pressed.
So they were trying to get Chris Evans in this movie to be the Sebastian Stan character, the sheriff. But
Sebastian Stan's in this too. See why I got tricked?
You got tricked.
I got tricked.
So Sebastian Stan is I think American. But I guess he was born in Romania. Oh my God, I can't even. Wow. Anyone you'd like to see? I'm thinking like gritty American actor.
Man.
Anybody or actress?
I don't know. I think Tom Hardy could have maybe done fairly well in this movie.
He's not American.
He's not. No, he's got to be. No. Son of a! I told you.
Tom Hardy is like the most British dude of all time.
I know, but he always has an American accent.
I don't know where these people are born. I'm not like
Oh my God. Let's get.
Do we have any American actors left?
let's get Danny Trejo in this movie. He'll be the bodyguard or something. That would be legit. Oh my God. You know who I could see here in this one? All right, gritty, maybe older character or something. What about a Mickey Rourke?
What the hell? You're going way off the deep end now.
Mickey Rourke and Danny Trejo in this movie.
Then that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. You know why? Because then I definitely wouldn't have watched it. So that would have saved me a watch.
Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know. All of the. I mean, I can't be like a Mark Wahlberg.
What about
like a tough person?
Wait, what about a different
Can
Spider-Man?
you think of someone that's that's under 50 years old?
Tobey Maguire. Get a different Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire. I love that. I love little Tobey in there.
It's amazing Adams, you can't think of a single male American actor in like his 20s or 30s.
Oh no. What about Josh Brolin though? He could have been.
No, I'm gonna go team Jacob. Can we switch out the guy who was the werewolf in Twilight with Robert Pattinson?
Maybe.
Taylor Lautner. Oh, how do I
Taylor Lautner.
That's so sad. What if we got Amy Adams was in that Hillbilly Elegy movie on Netflix? What if we just swapped her in this movie instead? How about that? That would have been a good one.
As who?
Amy Adams.
No, as which character? The serial killer character?
No, well, she's actually American. One of the only Americans in the movie. She's actually American. Well, she's like Lisa Marie Presley's daughter or something. So she's American.
Really?
Yes. I looked that up when we were doing The Lodge. So same person from The Lodge. That's interesting. So, Amy Adams would probably see all the characters get murdered or die. So
spoilers.
I was gonna say Emma Stone.
So wait, hold on. Are you saying Amy Adams as who?
Amy Adams probably as the woman who gets murdered by her by Dudley.
Yeah, so Mia was I can't remember her name right now.
Wachkowski or whatever.
Yeah. What? Yes, we are.
Now I would maybe go Jessica Chastain there.
Jessica Chastain could work in this. I think an Amy Adams, Jessica Chastain-ish type person could.
Yeah. I mean,
what about Liam Hemsworth for the preacher?
Wait, aren't the Hemsworths?
They're from Australia.
They're Australian.
Oh shit! Who's
my
American?
God, guys!
We have nobody.
All we have left is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is everybody.
Hey, we got the guy. Let's all of the young actors are too young. They're all like the people from It. Although isn't Finn Wolfhard from Canada? God damn it. We're so screwed. We're so screwed now. What about Millie Bobby Brown? She could have been one of the
Adam Driver. Adam Driver could have been
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver would have been a good I think he would have been really good in I
like that one.
Oh, who am I think? I don't think he would have been good as Arvin. He would have been good as maybe the cop.
Despite his name, Timothy Chalamet is from the U.S.
Oh, is he?
But
he would be good. He could have been good taking over for Tom Holland.
Could he though?
I think he could have.
I think I need someone with a little more build to be threatening and to be beating people up all the time. I feel like
you're just saying that because Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
No, he's built. He's like a small, short built. He's Tom Hardy-esque. Like he could become.
He's a mini Tom Hardy.
Exactly.
Now tell me that the photographer dude, Vince Vaughn.
Easily.
Oh yeah, that could be Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, yes. Vince Vaughn.
Yes.
Easily.
Dude, we didn't talk about Vince Vaughn for a long time on this podcast, and now we're talking about him basically all the time. What is happening? He was in Freaky, and then all of a sudden the floodgates to
the Vaughn gates open.
The Vaughn gates have opened.
Yeah, because I mean, I thought like DiCaprio could have been an interesting because you need someone older, but you need someone older who's not like too like they can't be too grizzled, right? Everyone's fairly clean cut and all that. Yeah, exactly.
Danny Trejo works in this movie. What about Joe Keery? Your boy Joe Keery. Could he carry this movie? From Spree?
Man. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Oh man.
Oh no, I take it back. Give me motherfucking Zac Efron in this movie.
No.
Yeah.
He really saying that because he just played that Ted Bundy, right?
Oh, he did? Oh, I take it back. I hate true crime. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, do you, Nate?
I just retracted it again. Sorry, Zach.
By the way, we appreciate, ever since we started talking a little bit of the true crime stuff, we get messages now about awesome true crime stuff, and Nate keeps jumping in and reading them.
One word.
Yeah,
Awesome's
keep
one
sending
word
those for Nate to read, so that it just ruins his day.
I don't want it.
It makes me smile. Put a smile on my face. See Nate very uncomfortable.
All right, we've gone off the deep end. We need to move on.
Okay.
I don't know, Lisa. Anyone else that you'd want to add into this movie?
Dave Frank.
No, this is turning into a mess.
Dave.
This is just making me realize we have no American actors.
Ansel Elgort.
Yeah.
I can work.
Did you just Google a list of like American actors?
I'm now scrolling down. I might be scrolling down a list right now.
Oh shit! What's Bryan Cranston up to? What's he working on?
Bryan Cranston? Yeah. Well, because Lisa said to pick someone young. I'm like, I don't remember a ton of the young actors.
We're showing our age, y'all. We don't know any young people.
I know the younger ones. All right. Well, Vince Vaughn's in there. That's our final answer. Vince Vaughn is replaced in this movie. So. Wow. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Then we do not know any of the next upcoming stars.
I feel old.
Well, I guess Anya Taylor-Joy is not that like she's not quite old enough to be totally out of like passable 18-year-old.
Who?
Anya Taylor-Joy. She the Queen's Gambit.
She could have done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's because when she was born 96.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm sure Mitch would know.
All these youngins. Who knows? All right,
no.
Let's move past this. Let's mosey on to the next town.
This is your question
on this one. I know, but I can't believe you guys.
Thomas and McKenzie would have been good from Jojo Rabbit. And the King.
You're really scraping here.
You don't know. Come on. All right, fine. All right, we'll move on. But hey, look, if you want to tell us your favorite up and coming American actor or actress,
and I guarantee you half the answers will not be American people.
That's fine.
On this conversation.
Let us know at Texas Podcast Massacre at gmail.com, TX Pod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre everywhere else. Guys, we're on YouTube. Like and subscribe. You get the same episodes you're listening to now, but you can look at me and Nate's face. We are still trying to get Lisa to join us. Are you
trying to make people watch it or not watch it? I'm confused as to what's happening here.
Do you want to have a perfect representation of like, oh, that's why people do radio? Come look at us on YouTube and see our faces and then maybe stop. That is...
We got a YouTube for radio.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. We're trying to get Lisa to make an appearance. Right now, her avatar is just staring at us, blinking
blankly. It's like the Mona Lisa. But it follows you wherever you go.
That's the face I make anyway.
Well, I was about to say,
we used to do this in person. So what's the difference?
Yeah, it makes sense. So it does work.
True.
But however, so we are there. We've got our YouTube family is growing. So join the party, comment there, click the notification. I don't know all the crap you have to do on YouTube to stay up to date.
Subscribe?
Well, you subscribe, but you also have to click the bell so that when a new video and a new episode is posted, you get an update. If YouTube keeps growing, maybe we'll do more video stuff. But, for now, it's just looking at our mugs. So, you're welcome for all of this.
You're welcome for my face. Let's go. Let's keep it going here.
All right,
let's mosey on down.
Instead of,
I want to hitchhike away from this podcast. Can I do that? Is that allowed?
No, I've been trying for 3 years. That doesn't work.
Okay, wow. Well,
All right. Well, look,
Tried.
we're going to get into this week's movie of the week, The Devil All the Time.
How and why people from 2 points on a map without even a straight line between them can be connected is at the heart of our story in Knock 'em Stiff.
You ever think about how we ended up orphans living in the same house?
I know what my daddy did.
Some people would say it's just dumb luck.
You take pictures?
I do. I see a smile pretty enough to photograph, that is.
Others would tell you it was God's plan.
Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness. That ain't no preacher. He's as bad as they got on the damn radio.
When people look back on it, they had no other choice.
There's a lot of no good sons of bitches out there.
Excuse me, preacher. You got time for a sinner? You know, I studied something. It's called the delusion. A belief that is untrue. It is our delusion that lead us to sin. Delusions!
Some people were born just so they could be buried.
What I'm about to do, I do because I have to. Not because I want to.
Devil All the Time.
yes.
Lisa, as our unsuspecting victim, and as the champion for this film,
Gosh.
Yeah, you are the picker. You are the decider on this one.
Lisa All the Time, let us know what this movie is about. What is the elevator pitch for Devil All the Time?
It's about different lives in rural Ohio, just somehow connecting through really tragedy and grief.
Right.
That makes it sound way more uplifting than it is. It's not uplifting at all.
that did not sound uplifting at all to me. What?
Yeah. The soundtrack to this movie is basically John Denver's "Take Me Home, Country Roads." You could have that play throughout the entire movie and would fit.
It would fit.
If you watch this movie, he's like, "Hey, where's John Denver's secret? Take me away, country roads. 'Cause I do not want to be there. Everything's terrible."
West Virginia, because that's where part of this movie takes place in. Nate,
Yes.
what can you tell us about Devil All the Time?
Devil All the Time. This is a Netflix joint. Came out in 2020. It is 2 hours and 18 minutes. I got 138 minutes in this one. Directed by Antonio Campos. He's not done a ton of directing. This is kind of his first big deal. He directed one episode of The Punisher on Netflix and a couple other smaller kind of films that I had never heard of. The cast in this is spectacular, but the narrator of the movie is Donald Ray Pollock, who wrote the book The Devil All the Time and wrote the book Knock 'em Stiff. If you want to add that to your reading list, there's 2 books there. And he was the narrator. So the narrator was the author of the book. Kind of cool. I wish all movies would do that. If you got
really
the writer
cool.
of the book and you want a narrator, just bust it out.
Can you imagine doing Shawshank but having Stephen King be the narrator?
That'd be awesome.
That would have been cool.
Although then you don't get Morgan Freeman. So I mean that's
Andy Dufresne.
But it's funny because he didn't even do the voice work for the audiobook for Devil All the Time, but then did the narration for the movie that was based on the book.
How funny.
So, this guy's great. The cast is insane, as Lisa mentioned. We got Pennywise / the Thin Man from what was the name of that? Castle Rock.
Castle Rock.
Yeah. We got Billy Skarsgård, not for long. And that's a common theme in this movie. You see characters not for long. And so Bill Skarsgård is in there. You got young Tom Hardy in training, Tom Holland. You got Haley Bennett was in there briefly from last year's awesome movie Swallow. Then she dies. You got Sebastian Stan as a very corrupt sheriff / deputy. You got Riley Keough from The Lodge. You got Jason Clarke from half the movies that come out now. He's like the white Sam Jackson. You got Harry Melling from Queen's Gambit and Dudley Dursley, as Lisa pointed out, as another preacher. Spoiler alert, all the preachers are terrible in this film. They're all terrible, exclusively bad. Robert Pattinson, you got another terrible preacher. You got Mia Wasikowska.
Good, Lisa. You and I were not the only ones that stumbled over that one. So that's good.
And so it's just a variety of people in there that are fairly well known. I mean, quite a cast in this one, quite an ensemble cast. So there's that. I just got to talk about Robert Pattinson's dialect. So everyone else had dialect coaches except him. He crafted his own, and I'm assuming he did the same thing on the other Netflix movie, The King, that came out in 2019, where he plays like a French Dauphin, who has the most batshit insane accent of all time. You know, remember when we did episode 4? Well, actually, I wasn't even there, but remember when we did one of our earliest episodes? We did Keanu Reeves' great accent in Bram Stoker's Dracula, right?
Yes.
And so I feel like Robert Pattinson, Robert Pattinson is British, I guess, so he could do a pretty good accent. But Robert Pattinson goes into movies like Keanu Reeves went into Bram Stoker's Dracula, and he's like, I don't know how to do this accent at all. But what Robert Pattinson will do is he'll just go like, I'm going to take it to the extreme nonsense of awesomeness. Whereas Keanu Reeves is kind of like faded in the background where his like accent slowly faded away.
See, but there's a thing.
Yeah.
In his early days, he wasn't crazy. Like Twilight, you may never have seen it.
Unfortunately, I had to see the first two. Yeah.
He sounded normal. He just sounded, well, he
whispered. He whispered everything. Everyone talking.
Yeah, like he's whispering as like, Kristen Stewart's biting her lip. I mean, it's like that was the whole movie, right?
Say it.
So he's the opposite of
Vampire.
Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he is getting, it's like, imagine restrained Cage. That's what he's doing with some of these accents and some of this.
Nick Cage like, in the cage.
It's like partial Cage. He's like tapping into some of that kind of manic, crazy actor energy, but he's not insane and it's still really good. Like he's like walking that line perfectly, whereas Nick Cage has just like snorted cocaine off the line and just ran over it. So anyway, yeah. So he made up his own accent. He watched a lot of televangelists to kind of get his whole mystique, and I think he nailed it. Dudley Dursley is also a preacher in this one. His accent is more realistic-ish, and he's also British. He dumped real snakes on himself. Or not real snakes, sorry. Real spiders. He hates snakes.
I was like, what movie did you watch?
He hates snakes, but he dumped real spiders on himself. Oh. So there's that. Robert Pattinson also was wearing a fat suit. So was Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan looked rough with the.
Yeah, it was a fat suit.
So did Robert Pattinson.
Also fat suit.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it's and in this movie, I mean, a lot of people die in this one. This has got almost like a slasher-esque body count to it.
This is very much a Who Survives.
Yeah, it's really like almost all the main characters die in this one. We're getting close to Hamlet territory by the end of this one. So that was great.
So
this is closer to a horror film than I think it was billed. There are serial murderers.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple serial murderers. There is straight up religious murder.
Mm-hmm. A few times.
Yeah, like, God told me to murder you. Okay, Bill Paxton in Frailty. Thank you. And then we got is it statutory rape? Is it decon? It's I don't know how old these people are, but it's essentially like a statutory rapist.
He mentioned the second time. He mentions the second girl just started high school, so probably 15.
Yep. So we got basically a rapist on our hands. And so this is getting pretty close to a straight up horror film if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So
what did you
horror
think?
film, Lisa? There you go.
Oh God, what's happening to me?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, here, real quick. I'm going to set the body count for this movie at the line for it at 10. You think there were more or less than 10 murders?
Above.
Just above.
How many do you think?
I think there were 13.
Does body count murders or just all deaths? Because people are dying in a variety of factors.
I think all
here.
Deaths.
Okay, then it's above 10 for sure.
Lisa got it. It was actually 13. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot.
So if you're someone who says horror movies have to have body counts, well, this is a horror movie by that regard.
It's not good when you're like, when there's multiple different types of suicides. You're like, oh no, we got multiple suicide types that are happening in the film. That's not great.
This movie has a number of trigger warnings. There are a number of trigger warnings for this one.
Well, you're hey, the movie started. A person's crucified. Let's just kick it off there. All right, great.
This is like Shawshank Redemption, but if everyone was just miserable the whole movie and there was no hope.
Shawshank, that happy-go-lucky movie.
It's just called Shawshank, not Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
just Shawshank.
Shank.
Yeah.
This reminds me a lot more. Nate, I don't know if you've seen it. I know Mitchell hasn't seen it. Sling Blade with Billy Bob Thornton. Nate's chuckling. I don't know why Nate's chuckling. That one's also incredibly depressing.
Another great accent work right there. Yes,
well,
I have seen that.
That's the other thing is his
Mashed
accent in that one.
or whatever.
Yeah. Got any more of that potted meat? Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
but it's
great
the
accent work
same
in that one.
Period piece. Everything's miserable. Everyone's horrible kind of vibe.
Fun.
What did y'all think at the very beginning? There's a blink and you miss it title card that says a whatever production, and then of is like a tiny, tiny word on the screen, and then it just blasts the devil all the time. I actually rewound it because I was like, did we miss something? But I thought that was an interesting little something that kind of draw in your attention, and then it just kind of hits you.
Yeah. Well,
did you notice that, Nate, or did you just
the quote? Well, the quote is they thought it was God, but it was really the devil all the time. So, so yeah. You start with You start with the crucifixion of a person in Japan in World War II. So you got
not just crucifixion. I mean, he's like skin flayed, like not great.
Not great. No, not great. So that's a start to the movie. And I'm assuming right about that time, Lisa, you were like, oh no. What?
It wasn't good.
Crucifixion in the first couple minutes of the movie. That's not a great
It wasn't
sign.
good. It wasn't good. However, there was context for it. There was context in World War II. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was out of left field, you know.
But
it's more when like there's no explanation for it that I get upset more.
Okay, well, And then I guess, are we going to get into all this? Because there's a lot that happens in this movie.
It is this movie is
a lot going on.
So long.
A lot going on.
So long. I mean, this is not this is not an abridged version of the book. People who are like, oh, maybe I should read the book you don't have to. The whole fucking book is covered. It can't. Impossible for it not to be. So 2.5 hours.
That's one thing I mentioned. I mentioned to Mitch after it was over. I almost feel like it should have been a mini series.
Yes. That would have been interesting.
Considering there's different timelines. Like this isn't a time bendy jump back. Like there's not a whole lot of that. It is a pretty straightforward, series for the
linear
most part.
progression.
Yeah. But there is a lot of time jumps. And so I think you're right, Lisa. I think a shorter mini series broken up would have probably made it a little bit more palatable. I think some of it feels experience. I think a little bit of the motivations sometimes get rushed. Like, for example, the serial killers, you kind of see them and they're meet cute in the diner, and then they just jump into them killing people. And it's like, well, what the hell happened there? So you miss a little bit of character development, and some people you meet and then they almost immediately die. So it would have been nice to maybe draw it out, 2 or 3 episodes, hour long. Well, this was already 2 hours. So maybe you needed 3 or 4 hour long episodes to kind of flush it out just a little bit. But I think they did a good job making it not 3 hours long and including everything from the book. So
yeah.
So that was what I thought.
Mitch, did you think it was too long?
Yes.
Because I thought it was long, but worthwhile.
I'll get into it.
Yikes!
I don't know that I agree with you on the second part. It was long.
Is this one of the times where you go over to Lisa and you go, now I didn't like the movie you picked for once? Like, is this one of how often does that happen?
I may have said that I don't know that the Poughkeepsie tapes were worse than this.
Oh no, that's false.
Look, I'm going to be straight up. This movie was not. This is boring more than anything. I just didn't care for it.
Wow.
Okay. The acting. Look, the acting's great, but it's just. What is going on? Look, it's like if what is it? Oh Brother Where Art Thou was just really depressing. That's basically this movie. I want more George Clooney singing, I guess, is what I'm looking for. I don't know, man. It just I get it. Yeah, they're all using religion and thinking that's that's God telling them this, this is the direction their life's supposed to go and all that. And it's not. I get it. It was long. Maybe
it wasn't your kind of movie. You're not into these kind of really long period drama sort of movies.
Not really. Well,
I would say I was into it. I thought it was good. So let's get into all the deaths because there are so many.
Yeah.
Where do you want to begin, Lisa? Which death?
Oh my god!
There's a lot.
Nate.
There's a lot to choose.
I don't even know.
This was a slower, more depressing Coen movie, like Coen Brothers.
It is.
This was Fargo-esque. Did you like Fargo, Mitch?
He hasn't seen Fargo.
Oh my god!
I'm remiss. I know. I need to get him to watch it. Fargo is fantastic.
To be fair, I probably
Fargo-esque.
It's not that I don't like drama period pieces. I just didn't really care for this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Name one that you cared for then.
Well, I mean, would Saving Private Ryan count as a drama period piece?
Yeah, that's true. You're more into them if they're war, kind of historical war movies. Because you like that one that came out last year. What was where it was like almost the single camera shot?
Just tell me what this movie is. Just someone explain to me what this movie is really about. That's really what I'm asking. Because really, it's just a bunch of random storylines all kind of weaved in together.
It's about life.
And that's why it should have been a miniseries.
It's about life, Mitch. No, it's about just the type of lives these people had at that certain time.
But that's why, Mitch, I think that's why shoving it into a movie did it a disservice, because you're missing a lot of the motivation, and you're missing. It's kind of like, okay, but now this, but now this, but now felt a little bit rushed to me. If you were going to do it justice,
I thought it was good. I thought it was just because it was long enough because there was so much happening in this movie. It couldn't really be short, right? There's a lot going on. So it was over 2 hours, almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. I thought it was fine. All right, deaths, murder. Which death, Lisa? Let's get into it here. Which one?
Which death didn't upset me, Nate?
Well, the dog. Does the dog die? The answer is a hard yes. Gets murdered point blank execution style by the dad, who then also kills himself.
Oh, and he gets crucified. A lot of crucifixions in this.
This is the most gruesome dog death I think we've ever seen.
It was not good.
It was really, really, really bad.
Does the dog get crucified.com.
So that second, if you're watching this and that second you're like, oh, I think he's going to kill the dog. Yeah, just fast forward it.
Yeah,
it's bad.
You're not going to miss a whole lot if you just skip ahead a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Really
okay, killed the dog. But then he had seen the crucifixion happen and it obviously messed him up. But everyone's repressing everything. And how many repressed emotions per person is there in this movie? It's like 100 per person at once.
It's a lot.
The acting was good because there was a lot. It seemed like there's a lot behind everyone. Everyone was so damaged, like in certain ways in the whole movie. But his wife's death is not gruesome. It's from cancer, but it still hit me really hard, really early on in the movie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, then his dad commits suicide, which is really, really bad. And I was, it's that he's going to eat the pie to comfort himself. And then, of course, Bucky Barnes is like, oh, you're covered in blood. He's like, it's not blood, it's pie. I'm a kid and I was hungry and my parents are dead. So I feel like as soon as the mom dies, it's just hit after hit after hit after hit. And the second you start to like a character, they're like, nope, they're dying. So yeah, it was rough. It was like Hamlet. Awesome.
I think the mom death was really, really bad. I think the other one that hit me really, really bad. So the two that hit me bad and they weren't murders was also Lenora's death. When like at the last second she decides, she's like, no, I want to have this baby and I want to live. And then she accidentally falls off the bucket and dies.
Mitch, do you want to hear what I said when that scene was happening?
Sure.
No,
not really. But I mean,
so Lenora.
What if I say no, Nate? Do we just move on?
No. So Lenora gets knocked up by Robert Pattinson being the grossest preacher dude ever. Well, one of the grossest. And she's pregnant.
He can't be the father because they were just exposing themselves to the Lord. So
yeah, the Lord. It's like an immaculate conception or something, some nonsense. Every pastor, priest guy who knocks someone up says that. But and she's like, it's not my fault. You should try to find a way to get rid of it because you're gonna have a bastard kid, and like no one's gonna believe you and blah blah. And so she's obviously in a real bad spot. So she puts the noose on. Climbs up, does the noose, climbs up, puts her neck in, is on a pail, and then is like, you know what? Screw this, right? I'm not going to kill myself. Then she slips and hangs herself. It's so terrible. But Mitch, it was great.
Nathan, you could laugh at that scene. Holy moly!
You couldn't get through describing it without laughing. So,
but out loud, Mitch, when that happened, I was like, "It's like rain on your wedding day."
I start to worry about you sometimes.
I like that you cast judgments on me because I like true crime, but here you are. This poor girl has.
It was so sad.
Killed herself.
Kind of hilarious. It was kind of.
Funny. I bet you are so fun to be around watching 13 Reasons Why. So
that show was bad. I didn't get through that one. No thanks.
Not as much comedy material in there for you, Nate.
No, not great.
Oh my god.
No, but yeah, I immediately thought of Alanis Morissette.
Can you stop laughing about this scene? Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry. That was really sad.
Was it? Your face for the YouTube fans, your face does not imply that you believe that. It's like Maury. Your face says that's a lie.
Yeah.
No, I
You're
mean,
not
look,
the father,
the-
and then I'm laughing.
So there's two deaths that stuck to my. Or well, go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry, I was gonna say.
Well, no, I was gonna say. So yeah, that death was probably. She changes her mind, wants to live, and then slips off the pail and ends up hanging herself.
That's the saddest death to me.
It is. It sucked.
Now-
It really did. It really did suck. But it was just like the way it was. It was just like. It was almost like absurdly comedic in a way of just how it was set up, right? The death that I thought was the worst was another preacher stabbing his wife in the neck and then trying to have God resurrect her.
God.
Oh, that was brutal. And they have a young kid. And he had just been in a closet for like a month after spiders bit his face.
And his entire head swelled up.
What? That's not a great marriage. That's not
Every death in this movie was awful. Whether it was a murder or not, every death in here was awful.
Well, some people deserved it.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. A couple
none of them were good,
well,
but some of them deserved it.
Was
Not
that the only
many.
person who deserved it? Was Robert Pattinson the only one? No, I guess.
Well,
okay.
serial
Yeah, so
killer.
all
The guy
the
who's
murderers,
stabbed, all the murderers
all the
got murdered.
all the murderers got murdered. So those,
Yes.
okay, I get that, but everything else was bad.
Yeah, but he stabs her in the neck and she like bleeds out and she's just so trusting. And then he tries
her
to
just
bring her
saying
back.
her baby's name at the end, right before she died. Oh, I was
not great.
I was very sad.
Not great. And then he
that
goes and
dummy
hitchhikes
going
and
and getting himself killed. To be honest, though, it's probably better for Lenora that he didn't go back and get her because he
absolutely
was
yes,
psycho.
Yeah, like a bad dad. I'm gonna be in a closet in our house for a month talking to God in the pitch black dark.
Well,
Not great.
I
Absent
thought
father.
part of that was because of the swelling was making him like from the spider bite. So his irrationality there was because he was sick from, I guess, the toxin or swelling and all that.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
guy
I think that was part of it, too.
I think that was driving him being in the closet. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna go listen to Jesus now. I think part of it was brought on because
it
of
was the Jesus. It was the
it was the
Jesus
spider
stuff.
bite that made him.
Yeah,
Look,
his face
this movie's about delusions, right? This movie is about and his is clearly brought on by the spiders, and in this case, the spider actually biting him and him getting.
No, but
reaction.
he was crazy before that. The spider had almost nothing to do with it because you know how you know
it
you're
didn't
crazy.
have almost nothing to do with it.
You know how you know you're crazy when you're part of a group that is purposely trying to hurt themselves and test fate, and your best friend gets paralyzed because of it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that. Like this guy. He was already way gone before any spiders entered the equation.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
one.
I'm gonna stab my wife in the neck with a screwdriver until the spiders. Though I don't think he had crossed that.
No,
threshold.
he was always gonna get there. And imagine this: you're in church, right? And you see a guy just pour a bunch of spiders on his face, and you're like, I'm gonna marry that dude. The prospects in this town could not have been great. Lisa, what do you think about that choice? You're like, ooh, face spider guy? I think I'm into that.
Well, there is a slight advantage of being married to someone who's not afraid of spiders.
Oh, okay. Like, oh, that guy could, like, when we get a house together, that guy will be killing all the
He'll
spiders.
kill all the spiders.
Interesting.
Because he's not afraid.
That's a take I would never have come up
Yeah.
with.
That's how I did that on me and Lisa's first date. I poured spiders.
Yeah,
on myself,
Mitch dropped a bunch of spiders in my apartment.
I
and
did
killed
not
them all.
know this. Wow. Okay.
No, I think I just credited me. I was very selfish in what gave me the strength to overcome the spiders. Also, they were the plastic. Lisa didn't realize they were the plastic spider rings that you get from Chuck E. Cheese. I had a whole bucket of them, but in the commotion, it's hard to tell when there's like thousands of them being dumped on you. It's just hard to tell.
Wow, Lisa, you got duped. Wow. Okay, that's
in more ways than one.
got to
Nate.
rethink your whole relationship here.
I don't know. I think so. So for me, the death that was most shocking. Like that's the most hard to watch There's, they're all different deaths in terms of like whether they're hard to watch, whether they're sad on it. The most gruesome death is the one guy getting murdered by the serial killers, where they've like totally like cut off his junk and there's just blood everywhere.
His junk
and
got
just
cut
like,
off.
I mean,
and that guy was so nice. Oh, that guy was so nice.
He just wanted to have fun banging some creepy dude's wife in the park. See, I mean,
the whole thing's a park.
The great American dream, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Clarke and Riley Keough. I mean, man, what an odd couple, like a weird murdering odd couple, like natural born killers kind of thing. So it was kind of like a peeping Tom, Bonnie and Clyde almost. Like peeping Tom, he takes the pictures right when he's about to kill him. And this guy does kind of the same thing. And then they keep him as memento. I mean, this is straight up serial murderers.
Yeah.
How many people do you think they've killed? Based on the pictures, there's like dozens and dozens and dozens.
Oh yeah.
Like maybe 100.
Well, because how many years had they been doing this?
9 years or something, or some, yeah. Or 19 trips. 19 trips.
They had first met before Arvin's even born. So yeah, it's been years and years and years.
Maybe, and then he turns 18. They've been maybe at it 20 years.
Yeah, it says 19 separate trips. So if it's once a year, oh man,
yeah.
And they get multiple people per time. So
I mean, even if you're conservative and you say maybe 1 year only like 4 people, that's still
it's like 80 some people. That's like almost 80 people.
Yeah,
wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's up there in the upper echelons of.
So
murders.
It's the classic pickup hitchhikers, which are prevalent at the time. Put them to a remote place. Tell them to have sex with your wife. They have sex with your wife. You take pictures, and
but
then
they don't. They get murdered.
After.
There's once you're in the car, you're done.
Once you're in the car, you're done. Unless you're Tom Holland, in which case you have your own gun and you shoot them.
Oh.
What'd you think about that scene where he murders both of them?
It was great.
I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome.
It was great. It was finally. It's a double-edged sword because I feel the tiniest bit sorry for, I can't remember her name, the woman in the serial killer duo. Because I feel like she.
Yeah.
I feel like she's Sandy. I feel like she does have remorse. Because there's that scene where she's trying to leave. She's like, just go, just leave, just go. And she can't do it. So I feel like she's psychologically trapped, Yeah.
She's like, I've already killed like 70 people. I'm kind of done now. I'm kind of over this.
Well, and I like how he's singing. Like. He's singing and she's like, I told you I don't like doing this anymore. Like, what? That's like saying I don't want to go to the opera anymore because that's not,
It's like, we should really stop
rotation.
Yeah, let's stop watching Big Bang Theory, right? Like, I'm done with this. It was like that. But we've also killed that many people. And she kept some of them like as mementos for herself.
Yeah.
Ugh, like pictures. So that wasn't great.
Well, but can I say why I think she kept the pictures? Because I think in the fleetingest moments with those guys before they were brutally murdered, I think she felt she was happy. Oh, she's like, look what could have been. I could have been with a nice young soldier. I could have been
banging this nice dude the whole time instead of that guy's junk.
Yeah, exactly. I could have been with this nice guy and he could have taken care of me. Because she even says in the car, she's like, oh, I could just kill, what's his name? Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just kill him and I could run off and I could start a new life with this handsome young man. He's a little bit younger than me, but we could figure it out,
Yeah.
So I think in the back of her mind, she looks at those pictures. She's like, this is what could have been. I was happy in those moments. And yeah.
Conveniently forget that 5 minutes later, that person.
Oh no, it's totally fucked up. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And then it was great. And that's why I said kind of Fargo-esque because like, Fargo, all these like little details like impact like the story in huge ways, and they go back and they
no spoilers.
They do like a thing that's like, oh no, he took all the bullets out because he didn't trust her because she tried to kind of leave that one time and then like didn't really cover it up very well. So there's that. So that was crazy. And then her brother is Sebastian Stan, the sheriff.
I like Sebastian Stan, but this is the most useless character in the whole movie.
He's like so corrupt and just kind of worthless. Yeah.
But my least favorite character. Like, I don't even know what we could have shaved off almost all of his story. Him being corrupt and all that didn't add anything.
He's running for sheriff.
It wasn't central outside of just that he was going to help his sister, but it didn't matter because he ends up in a gunfight with with Arvin anyway.
Tom Holland and him have to have the gunfight at the end.
Who cares? I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean,
would it have been better had they gone the fugitive route? And it's just like Tom Holland's over there saying like they had it coming. And he's just Tommy Lee Jones in it. I don't care, like,
but it'd be great if Sebastian Stan was like, check every outhouse. You're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of outhouses around here. So like that actually could have taken some time in that famous The Fugitive speech that he gives. It was his character was kind of the least.
Not that he didn't do a fine job. I mean, like no, nothing in this movie was poorly acted or anything like that. It was just
the acting was very good.
That character just didn't. Even with whatever themes you're trying to really focus on with this movie, I don't feel like he fit at all with any of it. Really,
I think it was trying to be like
I think his character was rushed. Yeah. I think you were just supposed to immediately accept this corrupt guy who happened to be this serial killer's. Like
he goes from getting a handy in his cruiser in 1 year to like now he's like murdering the drug kingpin and
it was very that storyline was rushed for sure.
I think it was just I think it was that character was basically just like, look, this is from the top down. Like everything's like rotted out from the top down. This guy is in a position of power. He's the sheriff of the county or Knockemstiff County or whatever it's called. And he's terrible and everyone's terrible. And it's just like a perpetuating cycle of terribleness.
Yeah.
Well, and then
he was like the least interesting character by far.
He told his sister, he's like, don't be a hoe because I got to run for re-election.
Yes.
What the hell?
And then he murders the guy he's been paying him bribes and his bodyguard with like a hilariously improvised silencer, which kind of worked. So that was kind of interesting. Everyone gets murdered in this. Yeah. Everybody.
Mitch, what did you think? Would you have hitchhiked at the end again after everything?
Yeah, he gets
hitchhiked. Would that have been your mode of transportation?
And then he ends up killing 2 people and taking their money. He's like, I guess I got to hitchhike somewhere else because my car broke down.
I mean, look, you got to get somewhere. It's. I mean, how likely are you going to run into serial murderers more than
it was
once?
A reverse Poughkeepsie tapes. Actually, it was a reverse Poughkeepsie tapes. Yeah. Now that I think about it.
I don't know. I'm just struggling. I mean, tell me what y'all really liked about this movie. At least I'm kind of assuming that you liked this movie. Maybe you didn't, but like Nate, you're very for it, and I'm struggling with it because when I watch this movie, I get the themes of like, all right, the movie is bookended by wars. So maybe it's the cycle of his dad's trauma passing on to him, and
exactly.
But I get it. Is it really all that compelling? Not really. When you also have serial killers here, and you also have this whole religious sort of thing going on over here with all the different preachers that don't really tie into the war part as much.
Well, it's like there's all these people that came back from the war that were traumatized, and then they passed their kind of.
Well, how many people came back from the war? It sounded like it was just. It was just Arvin's dad in this movie.
But then when his dad killed himself, then Sebastian Stan's like, well, my dad just up and left. So it didn't really kill himself, but just left. So then there was that hole. And then that pain caused her to maybe be susceptible to a serial murderer guy, et cetera, et cetera.
She needed a father figure.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was like just showing the ripple effects of all of the trauma that had across generations and across areas. I think was the main through line of the movie.
I get it. I guess it just didn't strike a chord with me watching it. I guess that's where I kind of sit on it.
I know I keep I was just going to say, I know I keep harping on it. I think it would have done better as a series. And I'll tell you why. Because I really enjoy, and this is one of the things, if you want something to compare it to, I really enjoyed Castle Rock. And the reason I really enjoyed Castle Rock, the reason I really enjoyed it, especially the first season, is you have all these different storylines. And at the end, they come together, right? They all kind of affect each other in some way or another. And this was that too, but I think they didn't have time to develop. You didn't have enough time to care about anybody. The second you started caring about somebody, you moved on, So that's to me what I like on most of these things. If you're going to do this big, expansive world with all these different storylines and they're going to tie neatly at the end, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that her sister, that her brother is the cop that happened to get the kid when he was, they had to reveal things too quickly. They couldn't let anything linger and then slowly say, oh my gosh, that was the same cop, right? It had to be like, no, this. They had to move it too quick for me, but I still feel like the intertwining of the stories was good. And maybe the book is good. I don't know.
Does this town only have one cop?
Apparently.
There's one cop and then the cop running against them from sheriff. There's two cops in this whole town. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe it had.
Maybe some of these small towns, the police force isn't exactly extensive. It's the
for me, I don't have time to watch TV shows anymore. So I'll just take the movie, to be honest. But yeah, I could see how it would be a little bit more compelling when, Helen in the beginning, when she gets stabbed by her husband, the he is Spiderman. Oh God, there actually is a Spider-Man in this movie. God damn it. No. God damn it.
Well, this one just wasn't radioactive, just regular spider. You gotta get bit by a radioactive spider.
Yeah, it was poisonous, but not radioactive. If he had done that,
then he could have resurrected her. If he had radioactive spider, venom coursing through his veins.
Sure. Yeah. But there's a lot of the jump cut forward because they're showing the time in between the two wars, right? Like, just like you're saying, Mitch. So they have to do jump cuts over a course of 15 years or so. Right. And so it is fast, but I don't have time to watch TV shows. So if I'm going to get these multi-intertwined stories,
Nate, you could have binged.
You have time.
If you had 2.5 hours to watch this, you could have binged a 30-minute episode. Or they could have broken this into 5 40-ish minute episodes, and you would have been able to do it in almost the same amount of time.
I know how many horror movies you watch that aren't for the podcast. You have plenty of time.
Yeah. I don't have time for TV shows.
It's so nice because if I watch 1 hour-and-a-half movie over the course of 2 sittings, and I'm like, oh, I'm done.
Your horror
8 other episodes.
Your horror snobbery knows no bounds, Nate. It's I don't have time for TV.
I like movies.
I don't have time for TV shows.
There's something wrong with your
I'm
nose,
interested though.
I went to the same acting school that Keanu Reeves and.
Okay, well,
but I don't know why I need to give myself an extra mustache with my beard.
Yeah, I liked it. I like these type of. You need to watch Fargo, Mitch, for sure.
Well, sure, that's fair.
Yeah,
it's on the list.
It's Fargo-esque. Yeah. It's definitely Fargo-esque for sure. But it's not. It's not North Dakota, Minnesota accents. It's weird Southern. Oh, to be fair, the southern part of Indiana has accents because it's right bordering Kentucky. And I'm from Northern Indiana, and we sound nothing alike. So maybe these accents aren't too bad in Southern Ohio, but
someone from the area is gonna have to tell us.
Yeah, we're gonna see how Robert Pattinson's accent was not correct, but it was hilariously good. Anyway, and we have to mention he gets absolutely shot to death inside his own church.
Oh yeah,
talking about blowjobs from young girls making them throw up makes it a lot easier to shoot someone in cold blood. That's for sure.
Yeah,
he's gonna lure the guy in, talk about his gross sex stories, and then be like, "Oh well, this is so easy to kill you." That's great. Thanks for setting me up so nicely on that one.
Yeah.
So if you did really enjoy this movie, it looks like the next book, Knock 'em Stiff, then goes from the mid 1960s to the late 90s.
So is it a direct sequel to this?
I don't think it's a direct sequel. I'm not seeing it saying it's a direct sequel.
Knock 'em Stiff was written first.
Oh, was it really? Okay. But it sounds like if you did not like this movie, do not read the book because it sounds very similar. A bunch of intertwined sad lives.
Yeah.
So avoid that one.
I don't mind nihilism. That's not what really bothered me with this movie. I just didn't get the point, but I guess that's nihilism. So I don't know.
Hey, that's okay. Because you know how many movies I've seen on this podcast and I didn't get the point. So there you go.
So
happens to everybody.
So I was the unsuspecting victim in this case.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Nate, that or Lisa, anything y'all want to talk about with this one?
No.
Well, say, hey, look, just like in a Marvel movie, Spider-Man is like the only one who does not die, and goes off to Cincinnati. And compared to Knock 'em Stiff, Cincinnati probably sounds like heaven. So,
well, unless he goes to Vietnam,
go.
in which case we don't know if he comes back.
Dude, they have to like go to your local like area to like where you're like, you know, where you live and register, and everyone's like, this guy's gone. No one in Cincinnati is gonna know who this dude is. So yeah.
All right. Well, look.
Yeah.
This is, I mean,
the devil universe.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
For as long as this movie is, somehow we got through this faster than we get through movies that are like almost half the length.
There's no comments to add. It's so perfect.
Oh my God. Well, with that case, let's get our final cuts.
Final cut.
All right, Lisa. This was a Lisa special, so I'm curious.
No, I want to hear Nate's first. I gotta see.
I want
to
go last. I want to go last.
You want to go last?
Hell yeah, I want to go last.
Oh, okay. I'll go first.
All right.
I obviously liked it more than Mitch.
Yes.
But I don't know that I liked it as much as Nate. So I don't know. I did appreciate the separate stories intertwining. There was a lot of gruesome deaths. I would not say this is very unsuspecting victim friendly, unless you just like this kind of movie.
It's like a thriller.
There's no
thriller with some deaths.
Yeah, there's no real scare. Yeah. There's no scares in this movie. It's a lot of murder.
Yeah,
but there's no scariness is more. It's psychological more than it is.
I don't even say psychological.
There's not even that much tension. You know, like, you know, I don't think that there's many points where you're waiting for someone to escape, you know, like, oh, will they or won't they? It's like, it's either they're going to get murdered or not, you know.
It happens quick. Yeah. The timelines are quick.
Yeah. They don't make you wait very long. So
this is a 7.1 on IMDb. I forgot to mention.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better, because I was going to say a 7.
Okay.
All right.
I think a 7. I think I agree with the masses. I think it was good. Like I've said, I think they should have made it longer. I might actually try and read Knock 'em Stiff and see if I like it. So yeah, 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right.
Well, Nate, Arvin, I'm sure, wanted a normal childhood with both of his parents and his dog. But he doesn't get what he wanted, and neither do you. You're going next, because I am on the fence, and I need to hear. I need to hear from you before I can make my final cut. So
sure, okay. So I like this quite a bit. The acting is great. The ensemble cast is good. Things happen quick, so you don't get that emotional investment. But like I said, I've been watching less and less TV shows. I don't need like the 40-minute kind of backstory episode for the person to then like see when things happen to them. I used to be more about that, but now I don't know, maybe I've just shifted. So I don't mind the quick things. This is Fargo-esque. It's Hamlet-esque. And the characters are ridiculous. Robert Pattinson's accent is a point by itself, because he's ridiculous. When he licks his fingers after he puts his hand in the chicken liver juice.
God,
that's a point right there all by itself. I mean, it's just hilarious. You don't get stories from this kind of area very often. I got to see 2 preachers murdered for being terrible. Usually like the person in power doesn't get like the comeuppance, or like the person that's in a kind of authority thing doesn't. And in this movie, they all do. So that's a positive for me. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 chicken livers.
All right.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Mitch.
good. Touches in a lot of areas. Mitch, it's okay to give it a low score. It's fine.
Well, yeah.
You can't give it as low as some of the other garbage we've watched.
No, that's fair.
Okay. So based on the way you talked about it, so Devil All the Time, Thanks Killing. What are you thinking? Where are we at here? Thanks Killing.
And that is my number. What the fuck was the point movie.
That's, it's funny too. That's sort of the problem with some of these, and part of why I don't necessarily always like.
And this is a higher budget. This is one of the higher budget films we ever do.
It's a higher budget.
It's a little different.
It's a higher budget film, and it's some of these like more artsy type of films. It's almost like it's kind of like that thing where you're going on Netflix and you're always like putting things in your list that, you think you're going to watch, but you never do, but you got to have it on your list to be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this documentary about some money laundering scheme. Like you're never going to watch any of that. You're never going to.
I watch those a lot.
Yes, Nate, I know you do, but the majority of people don't. That's why Netflix stopped asking you to have a backlog. They just recommend shit to you because everyone lies about that. So you can't even say, I don't know. This movie it's not bad. I think there is an audience for it. I mean, again, acting's great. The period looks great. I mean, it all works well. It just doesn't really strike a chord with me outside of like, man, Jesus, this is rough. like it's I can't even get to what you're trying to give me as a message about what should I be taking away from this movie, because it's just so it's bleak and there's just so many like just random like storylines happening that they try to sort of kind of weave together, but they're not really. And I get that that's probably closer to real life, but it's in a movie I care more about things actually making a more coherent statement about what you're trying to get to. I don't mind thinkers. Man, this one just had too many other pieces moving around that it's never quite hit the mark with me. So yeah, I'm going to give this movie I will give it a 6 out of 10.
Whoa, why is it so
Not
high?
bad.
You can give it lower if you
want.
No,
because I didn't hate this movie. That's a difference. They like when you get into like the 4s and 3s, that's where I'm like hating the movie. It's just levels of hate. I didn't hate this movie.
4 is like, this is a little below average.
No, that's not how my scale works, man. That's not.
Oh, okay.
Like if I give something a 3, to me that's like saying I hate this movie and I never want to think about it again. Lower than that is I hate this movie. Like 1, it's like I hate this movie and I will spend every minute of my life telling as many people as I can never to watch this trash again. There's levels of hate. 4 is like ugh. 5 is totally is a flat meh, and this isn't a flat meh. It is objectively a good movie, right? It is a good film from all their standard like what makes a movie a movie. It has great acting. It's got great set pieces. The score is good. There is a story there. There is a plot. It's just not one that I enjoy. So loses points there. So I'm going to give it a 6. I'm sorry. I'm not like crucifying it like you want me to, Nate. But
like
I think
the movie does.
I think there's been plenty of crucifixion
and animal.
I think there's been plenty of crucifixion. Yeah, definitely minus points for the dog crucifixion. You just murder the dog. I don't need to see
a lot of dogs have been murdered.
It was a fucking flayed dog on a cruise. No one needed that. That was
a lot of dogs have been murdered during the course of the show. A lot of children, a lot of dogs, a lot of people, just in general. There's never been a dog crucifixion. This is an all-time first for this show.
And may it be a last. If I can just
I'm gonna go in incognito so I don't get some of the worst recommendations of all time. And like, what other movies have dog crucifixions? I don't even want to look it up. But
Netflix
is
this
the only one?
Nate, we noticed you spend a lot of time on this particular scene in the movie. Maybe recommend.
Yeah, if you like dog crucifixion, you'll love this. It's like, oh no,
Oh God.
Apparently in ancient Rome, they used to crucify dogs all the time.
There's like an Air Bud 6 that gets like real dark,
Scare Bud. Yes.
Oh no. Oh
Air
my God.
Bud.
All
Make
right.
it happen, Shutter.
Oh jeez. You're right. Someone has money. Just throw it at it. All right. Well, look, I think it's gonna wrap it up for this review. Nate, where can they find us?
You can find us as always at TX Pop Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre on Instagram, Facebook. We're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. Email us, TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com. Your thoughts, your fears, your other dog crucifixion movies that you'd want to recommend. We can make that a theme month. We have other theme months coming that are non-dog crucifixion related. Mercifully,
they're all non-dog crucifixion related.
Some of them may or may not be dog.
Can
related.
we not be the dog crucifixion podcast? I would like to keep that. Yeah.
Let's not do that. And so we have some cool theme months coming in. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or other platforms. and we will put your movie on the list. We're getting close to running out of all of the movies that people have actually requested. So keep them coming. We'll put them on the list and we'll get to those. And I'm no Human Centipede yet. I'm still waiting. So,
well, like I said, we've had people request it, but no 5 stars.
Yeah, put a 5-star on it. Yeah, or at least a 3-star review for how many people get sewn together. Bare minimum.
Yeah. Again, as we always say, share this podcast with your friends, with your enemies. People you don't like, send them our way. If people you don't like, send them to the YouTube. So they can really get the full experience right off the bat.
Wow, you're really pitching Lisa to really get her face on here. Hey, everyone who hates things, come watch our faces and make fun of us. All right, great.
God. All right. Well, look, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Lisa, thank you for your selection.
I loved it. Thank you. Yeah. Keep them coming.
I mean, I noticed my suggestion for Repo the Genetic Opera still has not made the list, but that's fine. I'm not bitter. No, but from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.